G'day. It's Stefan Angelini from Angel Advisory. It's the 5th of April, 2023. Thanks for joining me for another economic wrap. Oof, what an episode we've got to go through. So we're going to talk about RBA not raising rates. We'll talk about Donald Trump getting arrested and what's happening over there. So thanks for tuning in, but the actual formal topics we're going to go through, there's actually 6 of them. So what up with the RBA, them not raising rates, what might happen in New Zealand with their Reserve Bank meeting. Porter Davis, we'll talk about Porter Davis and the recent collapse. We'll talk about CBD office rents and why they've actually been increasing. Let us go through the billionaires and who's recently come off the top charts of the billionaires list. Talk about whether or not Donald Trump is guilty. No, I'll actually just let you know what's happening over there because Donald Trump was arrested and charged for 34 different counts of things. And then finally, just one's a little close to my heart because I spent some time there. Lindeman Island just sold for $10 million. So I'll fill you in on what happened there. I'll try and keep this short and sharp. If you want to listen to the full episode, head on over to the Real Wealth Podcast with Stefan Angelini. If you're going to hang on and you are listening to this, well, guess what? He's just a disclaimer to say that this is all general information. Please don't consider it as personal advice. If you want any personal advice, please go and consult your licensed financial advisor. The reason I need to give that is because we are licensed financial advisors at Angel Advisory. And the reason we do these little updates is to let everyone know the kind of research we're doing for our clients' portfolios. So stick with me as we get into it. Let's start with the Reserve Bank, but done the cash rates. So the Reserve Bank governor has said we are not increasing rates. So that is the first time in 10 consecutive meetings that they haven't increased rates. So now the cash rate's at 3.6%. It's going to sit there for at least the next month. But a lot of economists is coming out and saying that they expect that it will go up next month. So the board expects that some further tightening of the monetary policy will still be needed as inflation returns to target. A really good quote here is the decision to hold interest rates steady this month provides the board with more time to assess the state of the economy and the outlook in an environment of considerable uncertainty. So if we look at New Zealand, New Zealand's had a bit more effects of inflation. Their inflation is a bit harder than it is here in Australia. So that it is expected that Reserve Bank over in New Zealand will still increase rates, and that'll take their cash rate to 5%. Let's look at Porter Davis. So you would have heard that Porter Davis, Australia's 12th largest builder, has gone bust and is in liquidation. And now they're saying a lot of the newer clients of Porter Davis Homes will most likely lose their deposits as they were uninsured. So they put their money in, they didn't get insurance taken out for the time between they put a deposit on a place and when they've actually got their permit. So there'll be a lot of people losing money as a result of that. Let's skip that and just keep moving. If you want to read more, there's heaps of articles out there about people looting the houses and contractors not being happy and not getting paid. But anyway, we'll keep moving on. We'll look at rents for prime office space have actually started to increase in central cities as basically tenants are wanting better digs for their employees. So as you know now, it's really hard to get good staff back into the office. We've been hearing for a long time that demand for prime office space in capital cities has still been really high. And why this really interests me is because we invest into some large property fund managers, and they own some of the best buildings and office towers throughout Melbourne. And they've been telling us that vacancy rates amongst prime office space are still extremely low. And they're actually so low that now rents are increasing. So it just seems that people want to have a better office space so that their staff actually want to come back to the office. And what that means is they're willing to pay more to actually get that. What will that mean for valuations for these kinds of office buildings? Well, you'll probably see a big difference in valuations between the top end of town and probably A grade and B grade offices. So with increasing rents, it means a better valuation. The cap rate might decrease because people aren't buying them as much, but still higher rents means a better valuation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that market there. Let's look at billionaires around the world. So Elon Musk was traditionally or historically the world's richest known billionaire because most of these people, they know their wealth because of the stock they hold in their publicly listed companies. So he had Twitter, he bought Twitter, that's a private company, but he owns a lot of Tesla. Tesla share price dropped by 50%. So Elon Musk was worth $180 billion. It's dropped $39 billion. Now he's second. And the richest billionaire is now Bernard Arnault. So the chairman of the French luxury goods giant LVMH. So that they house things like Louis Vuitton. Who else do they own? Let me just get that. Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Tiffany & Co. Their profits have climbed 25% over the last year. And you're probably thinking, why would LVMH be profiting 25% more in a global downturn? Simply coming out of COVID, people had cash. And now you'd be really interesting to see what happens to them, even though people aren't spending that much money. China, who is a big consumer of luxury goods, are finally getting let out of lockdown. They have $900 billion to go somewhere. And I can imagine a lot of that money will go to those luxury brands. So his net worth increased by $50 billion to $211 billion. And our good mate, Jeff Bezos, who was sitting second on the billionaire list, is now third. He lost the most amount of money. So he lost 40% of his value through Amazon. Let's keep moving as we look at what's happening with Donald Trump over in the US. So basically, he's charged with hush money scheme to try and boost his 2016 election chances. So what happened is he went to two women, supposedly adult film actress Stormy Daniels and the former Playboy model Karen McDougal, and supposedly gave him money to keep quiet. So he's now got 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, and doing a whole lot of other things to suppress these allegations against him to ensure he can try and win the 2016 election. Now, it's not going to stop him. He's actually still going for president in 2024, so next year, and he's a front runner for his group. So it won't stop his battles. Next hearing is set for December 4th. So that's a little while away. So most likely he'll be running for president while he's still going through an indictment and still going through a court battle. Now, one that's close to my heart is Lindeman Island. Lindeman Island is just sold to a Singaporean family for $10 million. $10 million is actually a fair bit of a discount. So 10 years ago, this sold for $12 million to a Chinese magnate, and it was recently on the market for $20 million. So they got it for quite a bargain, so good on them. But it used to house Club Med, where basically parents could go, leave their kid behind, the kids would go play, and the parents would just go and enjoy the island. It's been closed for 12 years. That's a long time. Now they're going to do a whole bunch of refurbs, but hey, guess what? They've got an island. They own an island. It's pretty iconic. It's only just north of Hamilton Island. Not a bad spot to own, but there's actually been a pretty big flurry of transactions in the island market. You know, I'm not there yet. Maybe one day I'll be able to buy an island. They said it's normally been local Australian ultra wealthy families who have been snapping up these Great Barrier Reef islands. So for instance, in July, the Atlassian co-founder Mike Cannon-Brooks and his wife Annie acquired an island called Dunk Island and its resort opposite Mission Beach for $23.65 million. So the Singaporeans entering this market is quite interesting. Anyway, that's my little wrap. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you get a lot out of it. Interesting to see what's going on. You go off and have a great day. If you've got any questions, please reach out to hello@angeladvisory.com.au. Tax time is fast approaching. So if you need some tax planning, go and speak to a financial advisor. Have a good day. Cheers.